Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. I've got a real treat for you because I was able to get the 1991 finals between the Bulls and the Lakers, Game 3, which was the pivotal game that decided that series because it was 1-1 going into it, and in Game 2, let's not forget, Michael Jordan had his spectacular move.
It was something that just happened instantaneously. I didn't think about it. It was more or less creativity. The decision that I made at that particular time to change my shot and still have the concentration to make it at those times is incredible.
So, watching this game, it became clear to me that we don't see games like this anymore because, in my mind, the Bulls, this is the beginning of their dynasty from the 90s. A young Michael Jordan, a young budding star in Pippen, a young star in Horace Grant. You got John Paxson, you got Bill Cartwright. On the other side, you got Magic, Worthy, Byron Scott, a young Vlade Divac, Sam Perkins. So you got versatility, you got scoring, you got defense. These guys played as hard as they could, and it was a really terrific series, even though it only went 5 games. So there's not a lot of things I'm going to point out that are like bad defensive stuff. It was really just do the best you can on defense to get a hand up and hope they miss. The big marquee matchup was Michael Jordan having to guard Magic Johnson. And I can tell you right now, if the Bulls continue to do that, they would have lost this series. That said, the Lakers were pretty unimaginative with their offense. They'd simply cross-screen and post up with any of their 5 players. Here, Vlade comes across, Horace is late, and he gets a nice little layup. Just to refresh your memories, the Bulls team had Scottie and Michael Jordan, Horace Grant, and John Paxson, and Bill Cartwright. Here, Michael's going to get a screen a la Kobe Bryant now, no triangle offense, but he doesn't finish, as he didn't finish well all game. But John Paxson is here after the pass out to nail down a jumper, and he was on fire all series. Sam Perkins was a very difficult matchup for the Bulls because he could shoot the 3 or post up. Here against Cartwright, they have to double, which forces them to swing the ball, and they have to give up a shot to Worthy. In 1991, the Bulls were still not running the triangle all the time, but here's a traditional setup where they feed the post and cut through. Horace Grant will get the pass at the free throw line and want to dribble pitch to Scottie, but Scottie inexplicably just stands there. The whole offense dies. The shot clock is now running down, and all they can get is a Bill Cartwright turnaround jumper in the lane, which misses. Like I said, Michael cannot guard Magic in the post. He would do a quick spin move every time, and when they go over to help, Magic is such a great passer he can hit the open man for a layup every time. The triangle offense is about movement, and watch how Horace Grant, after he passes, is going to cut to the basket. That's going to enable him to get inside position and putbacks, which he was perfect in all series long. This Laker offense was so potent, the Bulls preferred not to double team anybody in the post, and when they did, it was always late. So here comes Horace Grant after the move is made. He's too late to stop Magic Johnson, and he scores in a little hook. Just like Kobe does now, whenever Michael brought the ball up, he was free to go one-on-one and try and create. However, what the Bulls do much better than the Lakers do now is get right back into the triangle if they're not successful with Michael's drive. Here they do pinch post, but instead of hitting the high post, Michael's going to feed John Paxson on the other option for a wide open jump shot. This is beautiful stuff. By pressuring Magic, they were trying to wear him out. However, they're using Michael Jordan to pressure him, which is going to wear Michael Jordan out too. Here's Worthy in the post now, going to score easily on one of the best defenders in the league in Scottie Pippen. And right back in the post for Worthy against Scottie again. He's going to show him a couple of old man tricks off the glass with a scoop. And if the Bulls insisted on having Michael guard Magic in the post, they were just going to pound it down low on him and score every time. At this point, Michael Jordan had begun growing into his role of making his teammates better and not forcing things. Here they're going to go pinch post and screen and roll. However, instead of attacking the double team, he knows to get the ball to Horace and trust that they're going to swing the ball to Scottie down low for a nice little layup. Here is the third option in the triangle where Scott Williams as the weak side forward will come across to the free throw line. B.J. Armstrong's going to cut in behind him, and he has the option of pitching it to him or going to the basket where he gets a foul. The best adjustment of the game comes here when Scottie begins to guard Magic instead. That means that Vlade is being guarded by Michael. It's a little bit strange. Vlade can handle the ball though and tries to bring it up against Michael Jordan, but they get a 10-second violation. What elevated the Bulls to elite status was Scottie Pippen's transformation into a complete player. Here he'll go one-on-one and pull up from 18, something he never would have done a year ago. Here's an example of Pippen guarding Magic, who does no better than Michael Jordan as Magic gets right to the lane and they get a layup. However, Cliff gets a hand on that block. Right back at Pippen in the post with Magic. This time, Cliff Levingston was a big key in the whole series, and he comes over and gets a blocked shot. Here's what made the Bulls so tough. They got Horace Grant, who can go after rebounds with anybody and tip, and he's very active. Then you got B.J. Armstrong leading the break with Scotty on one side and Michael on the other. Meanwhile, the Lakers are really tough, especially team defense, when you got James Worthy on the weak side swooping in to get steals and then coming down the court and finishing with a dunk. Both these teams were so good individually that it came down to matchups. Michael versus Magic, Vlade versus Horace Grant or Cartwright. Here they're going to do a screen and roll on the sideline, which forces a switch. Now you got Divac being guarded by Michael Jordan, and that's not a good proposition in the post. Another great matchup was Pippen against Worthy in the post. Here you're going to see Pippen do his expert getting around the post and stealing it, and then they come down and Michael is going to try and finish against Perkins, and he doesn't. However, no Lakers get back and allows Michael to get in for a jam. Let's just see the close-up of how Scotty gives himself up to get that save before he goes out of bounds. It's just beautiful stuff. The Bulls again were really unwilling to double team the post when Michael Jordan was guarding Magic. However, they finally got into a double team, but look at the spacing. Cartwright is forced to guard Divac and Perkins and has to choose. Meanwhile, you got Magic, who's an expert passer, carving him up. Now let's make one thing clear. It's not like they can get help from anywhere else, because you got Worthy on the top looking for the pass out. You got Byron Scott on the other side who's going to knock down any kind of jumper. So you really got to pick your poison here when you're playing the Lakers. So speaking of poison, the Bulls are now looking at this and realizing they have to put Pippen on Magic, but that leaves Michael guarding Vlade. So of course the Lakers are going to go right to the post and attack. Vlade was a terrific passer from the post, and they get a dunk out of this because they got Worthy and Perkins on the weak side. Jeez. Look, it's Dustin Hoffman. He is in theaters right now in Hook, while Jack Nicholson's latest was The Two Jakes. The Lakers were really making Michael Jordan pay for having to guard Divac in the post. Look how they put three guys up above the three-point line on the weak side and just let Vlade go one-on-one where he gets a dunk. There's going to have to be a serious adjustment here for the Bulls if they want to win. So the Bulls go back to their original alignment with Horace Grant guarding Vlade Divac. They want to double, but the offense and the passing is just too good. They can't get there in time. In the third quarter, Vlade Divac was key, scoring 12 points, and they had an 11-point lead at one point, but the Bulls persevered and were able to cut it to 6 to start the fourth quarter. They get right back in the swing of things by running pinch post with a split in front of the post. Beautiful shot by Craig Hodges to cut it to 4. Something unforeseen needed to happen to change the Bulls' fortunes, and it was Cliff Levingston coming up big with several blocks, and then he gets an outlet pass, so now you got Michael and Scotty on the break, which is pretty formidable, and Scotty scores. However, you still have the problem with Magic being guarded by Michael, and Magic scores in the post easily. On the other side of the floor, watch Cliff Levingston screen for Michael and then pop to the ball. Really great offense here. Can anyone tell me why Michael Thompson isn't in the game sitting next to Vlade right there? Is he injured? And then anyone know who that guy is on the right? He's a coach in the NBA now. Who wants to tell me? Here's a great Pippen drive to the basket, but watch Worthy on the weak side, how he doesn't even move to try and help out. This was one of the only times I saw that kind of defense. And look at this guy's style with that shirt and that hair. Again, the difference in this game was Cliff Levingston getting rebounds and blocks and putbacks like this. The Bulls gave the Lakers just as many matchup problems. Here you're going to see on the switch, Pippen going against Vlade Divac. He blows by him and gets a dunk. Worthy hurt the Lakers a little bit in the fourth quarter. He gets a steal here but throws the ball away in transition. He also missed a couple of box outs later. This is a key possession for the Bulls, up by 1 with a minute and a half to go. They don't get into anything here and waste a lot of time until Michael goes to the basket, but the spacing is all off. Horace doesn't have any room, and John Paxson will take a contested jumper and miss. However, Jordan is there to tip it out, and that happens sometimes, but now they go right back at it, and Horace Grant is going to get under the basket again and tip it out again, giving him another possession. And then this time, they're going to come back around and get a shot by Michael, and Horace Grant again, a little push in the back maybe, but then a tip in. And here's a typical Mike Dunleavy offense. However, when you got this many great players, you can run this. They don't do any movement, no nothing, they just throw the ball in the post and hope for the best. Well, when you got Perkins and Magic and all those guys, it looks pretty good. This was the signature play for the Lakers in the finals. Watch Horace Grant be just a fraction of a second late here when he's trying to pick up Divac, and that's going to let him come around, curl, get fouled, and hit the basket, and go hug Magic. The Bulls opt to take the ball out full court, which would almost never happen today because most teams would just take it at the half court. And that lets Michael Jordan get ahead of steam. They come over and Michael pulls up and hits the shot to tie the game. It looked like a normal shot for Michael, but on the replay you'll see just how good Divac was at contesting that shot. Into the overtime on the fast break, Magic's going to barrel Cliff Livingston over, but they're not going to call much, I guess, with Magic being home. However, him being down on the other side of the floor means that his man John Paxson's going to spot up and hit a jumper. While Michael shot horribly in this game, he still had enough in the tank to have a spectacular move from the wing where he gets to the basket and uses his body to protect the ball. And here's more vintage Michael. They go to him in the post, the double team comes, and he simply spins the baseline and finishes on the other side. First off, look at these graphics. Didn't they have Photoshop back then? I think if you ask the Lakers, they'd be ecstatic to see Magic matching Michael like this, confident that the rest of their team would do well. However, the bench was the difference with Cliff Livingston coming through and nobody on their bench doing anything. Here's a brilliant play that won the Bulls the series. You'll see Michael Jordan guarding Magic and Cliff guarding James Worthy bringing the ball out of bounds. However, when the ball gets inbounded, they switch. So now Cliff is guarding Magic and Michael gets Worthy. Magic does not have the same kind of vision when he's trying to pass over his man, and Cliff gets his hand on the ball here. So now the Lakers are scrambling on offense and they're all out of position and they don't score on this, all because of that one switch. Here's where having Dunleavy is a liability because since they don't have an offense and they're all exhausted, no one can move, there's no set to go to, and they get an awful shot from Perkins. And finally, by putting Cliff Livingston on Magic, they had a guy who could be active and had enough size to stop Magic from having his way, and the Lakers couldn't come back. So there you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this blast from the past. I know I did. It certainly put me back into the memories I had of going to these games of growing up in Chicago. I don't think we'll ever see two teams that are that good in the post again because the post is now disappearing in the NBA. But that Laker team, you just take your pick besides Byron Scott, they're all going to post up, they're all going to score on you or make beautiful passes. And that Bulls team went on to dominate the 90s and have the best record of all time in 96 with a 72-10 mark. So, stay tuned for a lot more coming up on B-Ball Breakdown. Let me know what you thought about this. And don't forget, it's not a channel, it's a conversation.